Hello, hello, hello. It's your girl Candy with an E, and I am up in here today. We're going live with Mr. Robert Dunbar III, and he is going to blow this place up because he's going to teach you how to train your brain to succeed. I want you guys to come in, get you a drink, get you a notepad, get you a pen, and make sure that you are ready to take notes. So we're going to take a little moment so we can get some people up in here, and then we're going to let Mr. Robert Dunbar III blow it up, okay? Hey, Cedrica, how you doing? So everybody, come on in, come on in, come on in. When I say we're going to have a show for you today, you guys, I'm telling you, get your notepad out, because when I tell you he is the truth, he is the truth. And if you are not taking notes, don't get mad at me. It's good. I'm telling you, write it down. Now, again, just so you guys know, any questions, you can ask your questions, but your questions will not be answered until the 20th. I will drop the email that you can send questions to, so that way we can make sure that your question is addressed. I want everybody's questions to be addressed on the 20th, when you get to see everybody that was a part of and is a part of the summit to actually answer all of your questions. So we don't want to, slow down the presentations by asking questions. I want you to get the information. So again, get your notepad, get your pens and pencils out, because Mr. Dunbar is the truth, okay? So I'm going to bring him on and let him introduce himself, and then we're going to let him roll with it, okay? So let me bring Mr. Dunbar into this screen. All right. We got Mr. Robert Dunbar III up in here. So I want you to tell our audience who you are and what you do.
Oh, real quick, and I'm gonna give you a brief introduction, because definitely in my PowerPoint, I'm gonna kind of go over my story. But my name is Robert A. Dunbar III, and I'm really just I like to do different trainings on mindset and things like that. I have a company called Training by Dunbar, and really what I enjoy doing is helping people become better entrepreneurs. So I have just a lot of different sublines, like becoming an entrepreneur, and now think like an entrepreneur, act like your industry. Because I want people to really understand, no matter what you do for a living, in order for you to be successful, you have to have the skill set of running a business along with that skill set of whatever it may be, whether you're a fitness trainer, a chef, or whatever it is you got going on. And that's really my objective, and my book will be covering a lot of that when it comes out. So back to you.
All right. So we're going to let Mr. Dunbar take the stage. I'm going to get up out of his way and let him do his thing. Okay, guys? So get your pencil and paper and write down, because I'm telling you, he is the truth. Take it away.
All right. Go ahead and share my screen here. So, guys, I'm going to be going over a PowerPoint with you all. And the PowerPoint that I'm going to be going over, I may drop it a few times, just so you all will be able to see me, because I do like to really engage with the audience. But a lot of things on the slideshow I want you guys to be able to see. And at some point, I'm going to be talking to Candy about how I'm going to be able to do this. I'll be able to get the PowerPoint to you all. So if you miss something in the PowerPoint and you feel like, hey, I didn't see that slide, I couldn't take a picture of it fast enough, don't worry about it. This entire slideshow was put together for this program. So you'll get that slideshow emailed to you some way, somehow, and I'll figure that out with Miss Candy, figure out how we're going to do that. So just so you all know, you guys can follow me on Facebook and Instagram. You can also follow me on YouTube. I have a lot of training. I believe I have over 50 videos on YouTube, training videos. And then on my Facebook page, I have training videos as well. And then I have an Instagram page that you can follow. So get plugged into those things. I would tell you that way you can be connected to me. I drop 2 videos a week as well. If you're interested in going to any of my actual, and these trainings are free for this, text mindset to 904-932-0622. If you text mindset to that number below, 904-932-0622, when you text that, you'll get something back. And then once a week, you'll get a notification for a training that I'm doing on Wednesday nights at 9 p.m. Eastern time. That training is never going to be a cost for you. It normally runs between 60 and 90 minutes, and it covers different topics. And at the end of this training, you'll see next week's topic. You'll see a slide on it, which is going to be, what are you worth? And I'm going to be talking about everything from how to create value in yourself, how to hold on to the value, and whether or not the company that you may work for, if you have a 9-to-5, is making more money off of your college degree than you're making. And we want to fix that if that's your scenario. So real quickly, Training Your Brain series, entrepreneurial mindset hacks, guys. That's what we're going to talk about. Thinking like an entrepreneur, but acting like your industry. And why do I say that? Because everybody's in a different industry, but you have to think like an entrepreneur no matter what industry that you're in. So what are you going to get from this training? You're going to hear a little bit about my story. You're going to hear, you're going to understand the brain, the left and the right side. And again, I'm not going to get technical in any of those things. It's going to be 2 slides and it's going to be really quick. So no science, no health. I'm not going to bore you guys to death. We're going to go over some mental exercises, personal development and soul cleansing, some neutral thinking, which is balancing the mindset scales. We're going to talk about date bending, which is going to be showing you how to increase your productivity. And then I'm going to show you how to course correct that activity as well, so it builds confidence and so that you never fall so far behind on your goals that you can't really catch up. So just real quickly, hear a little bit about my story. So I'm originally from Buffalo, New York, and I now reside in Jacksonville, Florida. And I came to Jacksonville, Florida, really to do real estate. So I came here to do real estate in 2005, 2006, 2007, all of those different, all those years. I was doing pretty good with the real estate, and then the market crashed. So when the market crashed, it really did affect how my income was working. So I lost 3 of the 8 properties that I had gotten that I was doing as investment properties, and I had a BMW and a Mercedes at the time. So I jokingly say to people that Mercedes sent somebody to my house to steal a car, but really it got repoed. And my BMW was actually, I was hiding it behind the other 5 houses that I hadn't lost in those foreclosures, and I was kind of playing musical car, if that makes sense. And for some of you all, that this may make sense because you may have gone through something yourself, either by losing your job or being an entrepreneur and running into a bad spot. So I had run into a really bad spot, and I was trying to figure out what to do with the other 5 properties, what I could do to create income for myself, because I was losing money, I was falling behind on things, and it had really gotten so bad for me that I had literally gotten bleeding ulcers. I went to go see my doctor because my stomach was bothering me really bad. And I went to see him, and he did some x-rays and ran some tests on me. And I found out that I had bleeding ulcers. That's how stressed out I was, guys. And it really was because I made mistakes. One, the market did crash, but the market crashing isn't the reason that I lost money and my business turned around on me. The reason why I lost money in my business turned around on me is because I didn't fully understand how to be an entrepreneur. And that's why I train on those different topics on becoming an entrepreneur, because when the market goes bad, when there's a depression, when we've got an epidemic like we do right now happening in our country and all over the world, this is the time when you can actually make more money, not less money. So it wasn't that something happened. It wasn't the real estate market crashing like I say it is. It's really that I wasn't equipped for the market to crash. Because if the market crashes again, which it looks like it's going to be happening pretty soon, if that happens again, then I'll be much better prepared to make money as opposed to lose money when that does happen. So moving forward, I ran into a friend of mine out in the Florida marketplace, and he asked me, did I know anything about assisted living? I said, no, I don't. Never heard of it before. Now, my mom was in the home health care, so I knew home health care, but I didn't understand assisted living. And he talked to me about it, told me how I could get licensed to use my other 5 facilities for assisted living. And that's exactly what I did. I ended up turning my other 5 properties into assisted living. And when I did so, what ended up happening was I ended up with 42 limited mental health clients staying in those properties. And I ended up started back making money and started being progressive again, you know, in my entrepreneur venture. And from there, I opened up a tax office with an ex-girlfriend of mine that we were together for quite some time. We had 3 years within a tax office together. I bought into a Janet King janitorial service. I bought into a nightclub with another business partner that I had as well. So really, it was just a situation where I started being able to accumulate more businesses because the assisted living was doing so well, and then the nightclub was doing well. The Janet King janitorial service, I really lost money on. I never made money on that deal, so that was another bad deal that I had. So in your lifetime of being a business owner, you're gonna win some and you're gonna lose some, and that's a lot. That's a lot on what I train about is understanding how to discipline your disappointments and things of that nature. So that's part of my story, of course, because we've only got an hour here. I could talk to you for an hour about my story, but I'm not gonna do that. I am gonna get the slideshow back up here so I can go through some material so that you can really take some good notes and understand some things that I went through and how you can put yourself in a position to actually do the same thing. So get my slideshow here pulled up. Bear with me for 1 second. All right, so I always like to start with a quote. And I like to start with the quote because it kind of helps set the precedent for the training. And I'll have another one periodically through the training. So your brain is not here to make you happy. It's here to protect you. And that's important for you to understand because a lot of times we don't understand that our body and our brain is set up to protect us, not really make us happy. And after this training, you'll see you have to train your brain to get what you want because your brain is not really looking to make you successful or wealthy. It's really looking to protect you from any harm. So we want to understand the brain, the left and the right. Figure out whether you're a lefty or a righty, right? Are you analytical or are you creative? Are you mathematical? Are you a daydreamer or are you both? And most of the time, we're both, and we don't understand that. So there's been some new studies that suggest that complex cognitive functions require both regions of the brain to work in an integrated fashion. So I'm gonna tell you guys about this quick study, which is only gonna be one slide. So I'm not getting too detailed for you guys, but it's important again to understand because when it comes to mental exercises, I want you to know why you're doing mental exercises. So 74 city employees in Orange County, California participated in a creativity training consisting of exercises that focused on 4 proficiencies. 8 months after the training, the employees increased the rate of new idea generation by 55%, guys, right? Brought in more than 600,000, more than $500,000 in new revenue, and saved over $3 million through innovative cost reductions by doing these mental exercises. And what mental exercises were they? These right here. Expanding your knowledge, taking part in challenging tasks, engaging with stimulating people and places, and locating and discussing new ideas. Now we're going to break these down real quickly, not spending too much time on it, but enough so you understand them here just a little bit better. So you'll notice in the left and the right, I've got 2 different photos up there. One says keep learning, and the other one says my main focus is to remain focused. So I don't want you to think when I say expand your knowledge that you're walking away from the industry, that you're starting to learn things outside your industry. No, I want you to learn about things that are within your industry, but expand your knowledge a little bit because that's really kind of flexing your muscle. That's you doing some mental exercises to get your brain stronger. So continuing education is always the key. Is there a training program within the agency that your agents can do? So if you're an insurance agent, if you're a real estate agent on the line, anything like that, if you've got any kind of training programs that are put in place that you can go in and take along with your agents as a team, so you guys can really expand your knowledge in the space that you're in. Ever think about joining like a Toastmasters if you're doing live presentations, if you're a presenter, if you have to present to do new home buyers as a real estate agent, if you're an insurance agent and you're doing presentations because you offer group services with your insurance, things like that. Any kind of speaking engagements that you would have in your industry, have you thought about taking Toastmasters to sharpen your speaking skill and really expand your knowledge? Will a social media master course assist you in marketing in your marketing efforts? And will learning another language in order to assist your team or customers help out? I just got some clients out in the UK, and I'm really excited about it because I was able to do that through online. By concentrating on my platforms, I was able to get a group of people in UK to say, hey, look, we want to get some training with you guys, and we want to do it via Skype or via the internet. And it's great because I can do it right from the comfort of my home. So are you in an industry where you can pick up some Spanish clients and you can learn Spanish or hire some Spanish speaking employees or agents that can really boom that side of your business? So expanding your knowledge really can go a long way, and taking part in some challenging tasks and pushing yourself. So we all need that push. We all need those 90-day runs, things of that nature. So can you participate in an industry-wide challenge? What about if you're a contractor? Can you compete with other contractors for a prize? If you're a fitness trainer and you've got a fitness training company running, can you compete to grow your customer base? Do you have a workout partner, somebody that you can compete with and really build? Because sometimes you need that push, right? Can you create a challenge with your team to create team growth? All part of leadership, all part of building something substantial. And you want to be able to do that by taking part in some challenging tasks. So let's look at engaging and stimulating people in places. Really what I'm asking you to do is go out and network. Are you or your team involved in any networking groups like a BNI or anything like that? Right? They've got free networking groups, and they've got some that are a bit expensive, but it depends on what you do, whether or not it makes sense for you to pay for something like that. As a contractor, are you a part of your local chambers of commerce? If you own a transportation company, are you involved in an industry organization? Get a lot of business when you have organizations that you're a part of, and you have different meetings and unions that you can play a part of and get business out of. Do you work outside of your office to give your mind a new environment? Sometimes it's something as simple as I may go to lunch at a restaurant that's on the water and take my laptop, and I may go and I may have a drink, have a light snack, but I'll work out on that patio by the water for maybe an hour and a half, and new ideas will come to me. When I run about 5 miles a day. I normally jog about 5 miles a day. And when I jog the 5 miles a day, what I've found in the last maybe 6 months to a year is that I love to jog by the water. It's better for me. So even though there's a place I can jog about 7 minutes from my house, I literally drive 20 minutes to run in an area where there's water, because I like to see the water splashing up against the rocks. I like to see the fish jumping out the water. I like to see that environment. I like to go out early sometimes and watch the sunset over the water. So those are the different things that really help me. So sometimes just being outside of your office, if you work from home, or if you work in a big office, being outside of your office in a new environment can sometimes help you out a lot. And as a team leader or a business owner or somebody that's self-employed, do you stretch your team with retreats and excursions? People will leave an organization, they will leave a business, they will leave your company as an employee, but they won't leave a family. So what you have to sometimes realize is you have to do retreats and excursions and different things with them and allow them to bring their kids and their spouse and things like that to build that family environment, that team culture. So you want to be able to do that as well. So what about locating and discussing new ideas? Now, I want you to stay in the system that you're in, but I want you to come up with some new ideas. So are you and your team using Zoom or other interactive platforms like StreamYard? As a personal trainer, are you getting new clients from social media groups? As a network marketer, are you reading industry-related books and sharing those books with your team so that you guys can grow together in the same space? As a realtor, are you watching YouTube videos and finding new automation tools so that your business is running through automation? You've got a system set up where it's posting things for you on Instagram, on Facebook, through LinkedIn, but you're capturing new clients while that's happening. Are you taking advantage of mobile phone apps and capturing new ideas? So I know that the iPhone has something called Notes. I know that Google phones have Google Docs, right? You've got Evernote. You've got all these different things on your phone. I just did a training last week talking about how we're letting our smart devices use us as opposed to us using our smart devices. So we really need to start using our phones and our tablets to help our business grow or to help us advance in our job if you're on this Zoom or on this StreamYard live event and you have a 9 to 5. Because there's nothing wrong with advancing in your 9 to 5 and having a 9 to 5. But if you're a business owner, same way. Use those different tools that you have to really build into some different things. So we're going to move now into some personal development because guess what? We cannot talk about training your brain. We cannot talk about the entrepreneurial mindset and not have a conversation about personal development. So whatever we plant in our subconscious mind and nourish with repetition and emotion will one day become a reality. Earl Nightingale. So personal development is key. Are you reading at least one book a month? Are you using audio and visual as a mentor if you don't have a mentor right now? Because some of us are looking for a mentor, some of us have a mentor, and understand that a mentor, you have to have one in every area of your life. You cannot have one person mentoring you on everything. So let me give you an example. I've got a person that's not my personal trainer, but they do mentor me when it comes to fitness. The guy that mentors me when it comes to fitness, he don't have a whole lot of money. He can't mentor me on financial things because his finances aren't in a place where he can do that. But guess what? My financial planner, he overweight. Why is he overweight? Because he's not into fitness. He's into finances and stocks and bonds and securing your future. So you need mentors in every area of your life. And if you can't find one right now, and that's really okay, you can go to YouTube with some of these other video channels and then use a Les Brown, use a Jim Rohn, use a Grant Cardone, right? Get plugged into some groups on Facebook where people are talking about wealth and getting better in entrepreneurship like we're doing right here on this StreamYard. So you need to make a decision. Are you going to use audio or visual or both? Because me, I don't pick up books anymore because they make me fall asleep. I do audio books. I do videos on YouTube. So pick which one or both and then find out what's wrong with you. What do I mean by that? So I'm part of an organization called Team New Vision because I'm also in network marketing. I'm part of Legal Shield, right? And as a part of Legal Shield and a network marketer, I'm part of an organization called Team New Vision that's headed off by a gentleman named Darnell Self, him and his wife, Darnell and Tracy Self, and his co-founder, Mr. Mike Humes, right? And they have a book of the month. And I read that book of the month every month. But then I'm also part of a mastermind group that has a separate book of the month. I read that book of the month as well. But you see that fourth bullet point? It says, what's wrong with you? The challenge here is Mr. and Mrs. Self and Mike Humes and the people who run that mastermind group have a book of the month, but they don't actually know what's wrong with me. So when I found myself being chronically late, I had to figure out why I was self-sabotaging myself. So I had to pick up some books that had to do with what was wrong with me. And I had to start reading those books. So if you know that you're chronically late, if you know that you procrastinate, if you know that you have certain fears, if you know that your leadership skills are lacking, then you might want to pick up books that have to do with that so that you're constantly, at least once a month, reading a book that makes you a better person, because that's real personal development. And that's what's going to get you to the next level. Schedule some time to listen or read, whether it be in your vehicle, whether it be when you're traveling, whether it be you blocking out a specific amount of time, right? So now let's talk a little bit about soul cleansing. Soul cleansing. So soul cleansing is sometimes the personal development that I'm talking about, you really do want to engage in that. You want to do that personal development. You're reading books, you're looking at audios, you're taking classes, you're going to conferences, right? You're being a part of all these different training environments, but you don't find that you're getting better in a lot of things. And what I would ask you to ask yourself is, do you need to go through a soul cleansing? Are you in a position where you've had some things happen to you, been molested when you was a child, in a really bad marriage where you were getting maybe verbally abused or physically abused, grow up in a household where you didn't have both parents and maybe that's affecting you. Maybe you're a woman who your father wasn't around and that's an issue. Maybe you're a man or your mother and father wasn't around and that's an issue. There's a lot of things that can build up in us, right? Could be I was in the military, I was in front line, I fought in a couple of wars, I was caught in a couple of situations. Maybe you were a prisoner of war at one time. Everybody's different. And guess what happens? Those things build up. If for some reason there's a negative stigma with seeing the therapist, when really we all need to get better, because you can't go through this life and not run into issues that affect your mindset. So you have to be able to say, okay, let me do some soul cleansing. And what is that? That is me releasing the negative habits that I have. That is me letting go of false beliefs and false ideologies. That is me distancing myself from inauthentic friends, and also making sure that I am not the inauthentic friend. And lastly, and this one always hurts, right? Moving away from anything or anybody that doesn't deserve you. And guys, sometimes that's your spouse. Sometimes that's your own family. Sometimes that's your, what we call our bestie, our best friend. Sometimes it's a coworker. We have to move away from anything or anybody that does not deserve us. Because right now, when you're spending time with somebody that doesn't deserve you, when you're spending time with somebody that could possibly bring you down, you're doing a coin toss. And the coin toss is, hey, Todd, I'm going to either make you like you, or you're going to become like me. That's a coin toss. I don't want that to be a 50-50 chance. I don't want to have bad habits because I'm hanging out with Candy. No offense, right? I don't want Candy to end up with bad habits because she's hanging out with me and we're just friends. We're good friends, good person, but bad habits. You got to move away from anything to anybody that doesn't deserve you. If you're the sharpest tool in the room, then you got to get out that room. And make sure that your friends are real friends, that are really going to support you, that they're not inauthentic. Soul cleansing is important because you don't want the personal development that you're getting to land on all the challenges that you're having in your life, the things that you haven't gotten rid of, the things that you haven't addressed, and now it's not sinking into your soul. It's just personal development laying on top of crap. It's like somebody not taking a shower and putting on expensive cologne or expensive perfume. You're putting a great smell over stink. Does that make sense? And we don't want you to do that. So the first step to getting out of the hole is to stop digging. Trevor Moawad, neutral thinking. So we're talking about personal development, right? We're talking about soul cleansing. But what about the person that says, okay, I'm in a space where maybe I do see value in saying affirmation and having a vision board and having a success board and talking positive and keeping positive people in my environment. I see that idea making sense, but I grew up in a bad neighborhood. I'm not in a good place. So because I'm not in a good place, I don't know how to just be super positive all the time. So let's understand neutral thinking. The negative thinking cycle versus the positive thinking cycle. Stress versus calm. Remember I said, man, stress was killing me. I saw somebody throw a chat up. They understood that, right? Stress was killing me. It'll hurt your marriage. It'll hurt your relationship with your kids. It'll hurt your long-term relationship. It'll hurt your relationships with your friends. Nobody wants to be around somebody who's constantly stressed out. So understanding neutral thinking, what I want to do is show you how you can go from reverse to drive by putting your car in neutral first. Because the biggest issue that my personal trainers run into when they lose clients is they try to take that person from being 300 pounds to 200 pounds by working them to death and not letting them get used to exercising in the first place. Sometimes you got to get people in a habit before you get them to really ramp up what that habit is. So when I work with the client, and if it's somebody that says, hey, look, I want to start going to the gym, and I say, well, just meet me at the gym. I'm not going to charge you. I'm not going to do no personal training things with you, but I'll show you some things while I'm at the gym. I run or walk or sprint 5 miles, 7 days a week, 35 miles a week. I would never take a new person and have them do that. I would say, hey, look, let's do 2,000 or 3,000 steps, right? Let's do 2,000 or 3,000 steps every day. And once you get comfortable doing that, let's move it up. Why? Because you take it a little bit at a time. So let's see what placing the car in drive does, right? So I'm a super positive person. You guys know that person, right? You know that person that's like, no matter what happens, they positive, even if it's unrealistic. They're so positive, it's like they get on your nerves. Not because you don't like positive, but because they extra. And they're make believe. And it's like, so I have a daughter that's 24 years old. She'll be 25 in August. And she has bipolar 2. And I'm a very transparent person. So when I'm talking to my friends and family and people that know me, they know that my daughter has bipolar 2. She knows that they know that she has it. And if somebody asks me something about my daughter, do I have kids? I'll let them know my daughter has bipolar 2. Not because I'm putting out there for sympathy sake, but because it's a fact. And somebody, right, the super duper positive person will say, don't speak that into existence. Like, don't receive that. And I understand where that comes from. But I'm here to tell you that my daughter has bipolar 2. I don't have to receive it or speak it into existence. That's exactly what it is. And the minute that I deny that she has it, then I can't seek help for the situation. So you understand that when you don't admit that you have cancer, when you don't admit that you show up late, when you don't admit that you don't know what you're doing, when you don't admit that you're a bad spouse, that you can't fix the problem. So you're asking me to be positive, and my family member just died from COVID-19. You're asking me to be positive, and my the business side of my company just took a major hit. You're asking me to be positive, and my job just furloughed me and may possibly fire me. You're asking me to be positive, and my employees can't pay their bills because my business is closed. And you're asking me to be positive, and I'm running out of money and patience with this shutdown. So let's see what placing the car in reverse negative does. So you haven't disciplined yourself enough yet to do personal development and affirmations. So you don't wake up and say, I'm going to rule the day. This is my year. I'm a person that earns 6 figures a year. My marriage is exciting. My children are beautiful. We are 100% healthy. Every checkup goes great. God has blessed me with a great house, a nice car, and a job that won't ever leave until he's ready to open up another door for me. So I'm not strong enough to do those affirmations. Well, I need you to at least stop making negative comments out loud. Because, see, we can't stop them from going through our head. See, I can see a woman walking down the street that may be my type of woman, and I can see her coming my way, and I can see her coming my way and be like, that's my type. The problem is, if I'm walking with who I'm in a relationship with, do I look at her anyway, or do I look away and say, no, I'm going to be respectful of the person that I'm with? See, making negative comments out loud is I'm affirming this negative thought. See, it going through my mind may not be in my control, but me speaking it out loud, it 10x's it. You know, if you watch negative news on TV, it increases the probability by 27% of you having a bad day. So some of you are getting up in the morning and watching Fox News and CNN and MSNBC and ABC News and CBC, every alphabet news there is, and then you're going out the house and you're wondering why you're ticked off because you may or may not like the president, or you may or may not like these protests. You may or may not like how they're tearing up your city. You may or may not like the economy. And you walk out your house and you just increased the probability of something negative happening by 27% because you started your day by looking at something negative instead of listening to something positive. So you gotta put the vehicle in neutral. Because if I wake up in the morning and I say, you know what? Went to Cheesecake Factory last night. Got that 1,700 calorie piece of cheesecake. Y'all know that's what it is. I only ate half of it, 850 calories. I put the other half in my refrigerator because I couldn't eat it all. Now, first thing in the morning, I get up and I decide that I'm going to eat that cheesecake. So I eat that piece of cheesecake and I start feeling guilty about eating that piece of cheesecake. So what do? I say, well, I'm feeling bad. I ate that cheesecake. So what do I do about that? I say, well, I'm going to eat a salad for lunch. I'm going to eat some trail mix for a snack. I'm going to eat a piece of salmon with some vegetables on the side for dinner. And I'm not going to eat dessert tonight because I want to balance those things out, right? I want to balance those things out. So I'm gonna correct that throughout the day. Wouldn't it be better if you just never ate the cheesecake in the morning in the first place? Because guess what? You could not eat the cheesecake and be stable and not have to do the extra stuff and be just fine. Or you could not eat the cheesecake and still eat a salad and some trail mix and a piece of salmon and some vegetables and don't eat dessert, and you would be doing better. But we've got to know to get into a neutral place until we know how to just do better. So when you haven't figured out how to do better, at least your language can reflect, I'm not going to say negative things. So in addition to your language, what do? So in addition to your language, what you do is going to determine who you become in the future. What you do, ladies and gentlemen. Not what you say, not what you think, but what you actually do. So in addition to your language, what you do, meaning your behavior, will determine the outcome of your life. Gentleman that mentors me, Mr. Mike Humes, told me a long time ago. Like, I should say told us, because I was sitting in a room full of people. He told us, where you're at today is based upon every decision you made before today. And that hurt me so bad, I didn't want to talk to him for about a week. And he wasn't even talking to me. But what he made me do was take responsibility for where I was at, because my behavior had me where I was at. Now, whether you good where you're at or not good is based on every decision you made before the day. So in addition to your language, what you do is sometimes not as important as what you don't or won't do. So we've all heard the question, what's your why? What's on your to-do list? My question after what's your why, Candy, is what's your why not? My question, Craig, after where's your to-do list is where is your not to-do list? Because in order to become successful, there's a lot of things that you have to do, but there's also a lot of things that you can't do. And I really wish I had the time to go into the idea that choice is an illusion. But I don't. But let me give you a behavior story. Let me do that. So there's a gentleman, and this gentleman is works on refrigerators. And because he works on refrigerators, he's been called to work on a big refrigerator. So this big refrigerator that he's working on, it's a big walk-in refrigerator. He walks in to work on a refrigerator and the door locks behind him. And when the door locks behind him, he of course gets scared because he's saying, this door has locked behind me. I don't know how I'm gonna get out of here. And he's inside this freezer. So inside this freezer, he starts to get cold. He's no longer working on his freezer because he's trying to figure out how to get out. He's banging. Nobody's letting this guy out. So he's in this freezer. He's getting cold. And he says to himself, you know what? Maybe I need to start writing my thoughts. So he's got his finger and he's writing on the inside. He's writing on the inside. He's writing on the inside. He's saying things like, I'm getting colder. It's freezing in here. I can't get out. I feel myself starting to die. As he gets colder, he's saying, I'm getting weaker. I can't breathe. He's writing these things on the wall. And after so long, he dies in the freezer. And they finally get in the freezer. They finally get it open. And the doctor runs in there and he checks him and he says, he's dead. So the doctor says, I don't understand what happened. He said, there's still air in this freezer. So he didn't die because he suffocated. He said, the element that freezes this freezer is broken. So he didn't freeze to death. So how did he die? He died because he talked himself to death. He told himself he was dying, and he did just that. So the freezer wasn't cold enough to freeze him. There was still air when they came in there, so he didn't suffocate. But because he told himself he couldn't breathe, because he told himself he was freezing to death, because he told himself he was on his last breath, because he told himself he was dying, he died. You are what you say, you are what you do, and what you do with your time, how you move is why you're where you're at today, whether it's a good place or a bad place. So you got to change your behavior. You got to change your habits if you want things to change. So let me get the screen back up because I got a few more slides for you guys before we close out. All right. So moving on. We talked about mindset. We talked about brain exercise. We talked about personal development. We talked about changing your thinking. Let's talk about increasing your production a little bit. Let's talk about day bending. Let's talk about having more than 24 hours a day psychologically. What can we do with that, right? So there's only 24 hours in a day, but not my day because I'm a day bender, right? I day bend and I day stack. I want to show you how to do that. So if I asked you to run a 100-yard dash, you would naturally know that you could run full speed because 100 yards is a short enough distance that you could run full speed and get 100 yards before you totally ran out of breath or totally just didn't have the energy to finish, right? But if I then told you that we were going to run a 5K, you would know that you had to pace yourself. And why do you have to pace yourself? You have to pace yourself because you can't run full speed for 5 miles. At least most people can't. But when you're running a 100-yard dash, you are telling your brain that you can run it full speed. And your brain does what? It does just that. Because our brain reacts to a sense of urgency. So I don't know what you do for a living, but there's always a quota that you have to meet, and you always wait until the last minute to do it. Most of us do. I know there's a couple people on the line that are saying, no, I get all my stuff done in a timely manner, right? There's not many of you in the world. So for the rest of us, we wait until the last minute to get things done because we're doing other things. And we say, well, I'm going to wait to do that. I'm going to wait. And then you get to the last minute. Then it's a sense of urgency and boom, you do it in 2 or 3 days. Why can't you run your days like that every day? So if you had a 6-day work week where you work Monday through Saturday or Sunday through Friday, whatever it is that you do, right? However you work your days. If you had a 6-day work week and I could show you how to take 2 days of work. So let's just say Melvin has a to-do list. So Melvin has a to-do list for Monday. It's already set up for him. And let's take today. Today's Tuesday, so let's say Wednesday. So Melvin has a to-do list for Wednesday, but he also has a to-do list for Thursday. I want you to take Wednesdays and Thursdays to-do list and consolidate it and make it one day's list. Because what happens is you trigger something in your brain when you do that. Your brain now says, okay, I've got to get all of this work done in one day. So you could say from 6 in the morning to 12 noon, you're going to do one to-do list. And then from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, because you get a 2-hour break, maybe you work out, maybe you have lunch, maybe you take a nap, maybe you throw your kids up in the air a couple of times, whatever you do with your time, right? But from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, I'm going to do the other to-do list. What happens is you got a sense of urgency. So the same way that you're trying to hit any other quota, the same way that when you're running late to go to work or you're running late to an appointment and you speed and you don't have time, you don't answer your phone, you don't check your text message, you don't go on Facebook, you don't do anything that's a distraction because you're focused, because you're running behind. I want you to set your mind to be in that space anyway by saying, hey, I've only got 6 hours to get this to-do list done instead of a whole day. And what's going to happen is your brain is going to kick in automatically. So when you look at this slide, it says mindset continues to be the focus as it does in all my training material. The sense of urgency vacuum is just a way of training your brain that you have a limited amount of time to accomplish said goals. If your brain feels as if you have a deadline, it will automatically respond with a sense of urgency, right? So if I take that to-do list and say I got to get this done in 6 hours, and then get my other to-do list and say I have to get it done in another 6 hours, which is from 2 o'clock to 8 o'clock, you will not get it all done. But what you will do is get a lot more done than what you would have gotten done if you would have done those to-do lists on 2 separate days. We call that day bending. So let's look at the math on that. So if you had a 6-hour workday from 6 to 12, and then another one from 2 to 8, you really got 2 days, right, in one day, which really gives you 2 days a day. Does that make sense? So you're doing you're doing Wednesday and Thursday on Wednesday. You're doing Friday and Saturday on Thursday. You follow what I'm saying? So if 2 days per day times 6 days equals 12 days a week, that means it equals 48 days a month. So if you're working 6 days a week, but you're working 2 days out of a day, like, so you're saying 6 to 12 and then 2 to 8. I'm doing 2 days of work in that one day. So I'm doing 2 days of work on those 6 days, which ends up being 12 days of work. So on a monthly basis, even though I'm taking a day off every week, I end up with 48 days in a month, even though I'm taking 1 day off every week. So if you want to say, I'm going to work that hard, but that 1 day off, I'm going to spend it with nothing but my spouse and my kids that entire day. Whatever you want to do with your time. Take care of your elderly mother or father, whatever you want to do with your time. But it ends up being 576 days a year. So wouldn't you love from January 1st to December 31st, when you're around the same 12 months that everybody else is, but somebody else to say they had 365 days in the year and you had 576 work days in a year? And then if you take the 1 day a week that you're taking off, you have 576 work days, and then you have 52 days to hang out with your family and friends or do whatever it is you do with your time. Because you created a sense of urgency through that sense of urgency vacuum. So let me look at some numbers here. So a 5 to 6 day work week. The statistic says that you will increase your production by 31 to 57% by day bending. See, the statistics don't lie. Because if the statistics were lying, then you would be doubling. So the statistics know that you're not actually going to get both lists done. That's why it's not saying your increase is going to be 100%. Your increase is going to be 31 to 57%. But let's break that down in numbers. If you make $50,000 a year, you are now gone to between $65,000 and $78,000 a year. If you were making $100,000 a year, you would go from 100,000 to 130,000 or upwards to 157,000. Could you imagine taking your business or your 9 to 5, your production, because maybe at your 9 to 5, the production won't increase your income, but it may get you a raise. It may get you a promotion, which could equal more money. But if you're a business owner and your production goes up and your income goes up because your production goes up because you're in sales or you're recruiting or you're getting new customers, could you imagine going from $100,000 this year to 130, upwards to $150,000? You jumped about 50% in income. You don't really have more time, guys. It's just psychological. So like I said in the beginning, we just turned a 5K run sprint into a 100-yard dash, but in your brain. So I want you guys to let that soak in because that productivity is a big deal. So now let's look at course correcting the activity that we've got going on. So we're saying, hey, look, we're going to increase our production, but we want to make sure our numbers are right and that we're making sure that whatever goes wrong, we're fixing it. So let's course correct on some things, right? 10 minutes left, guys. Course correct on some things. We got good time going here. Let's look at some examples on course correction. How often are you doing a plan, do, and review with an emphasis on review? Example 1, I have an income goal of $100,000 over the next 12 months. I would need to make $8,333 a month, which is $278 a day, which is $1,946 per week. If I check my numbers every day and I put it on my calendar to do so, I'll take my smartphone and I say, put an alarm on there to check my numbers every day, and I made less than $278 a day, which is the goal, it gives me the opportunity to course correct daily, which is much easier to manage than if it falls behind and or if I need to set a new goal because I'm doing over and above what I thought. And I'm going to show you an example for that as well. So let's look at how that would work. Day 1, $238. Day 2, $178. How do I know that? Jeff, how do I know that? I know that because I'm checking my numbers every day. So this could be sales. This could be production. This could be money. You can replace that dollar value with whatever it is that you count. Day 3, $313. Day 4, $200. Day 5, $426. Day 6, $37. And day 7, $84. What is that? $1,476 for the week. Why is that in red? Because I'm supposed to have made, via my conclusion, $1,946. So I did not make enough money. At the end of the week, you've missed your goal by $470. A goal of $1,946 or $278 a day, you actually made $1,476. So you missed that goal by $470. If you would have checked your numbers daily, you could have course corrected a few dollars at a time. An example, $40 on day 1. You missed the goal by $40. So if I missed my goal by $40 on day 1, I could easily say, okay, this is what I can do tomorrow to make up that $40. And then I can concentrate on making $278 for day 2. But I know what I'm going to do to make up that $40. Instead of looking to recover a total of $470 for the week, because you may not know how to recover $470, but you may know how to recover $40. I hope this is making sense to you guys. Let's look at another example. Day 1, $526. Day 2, $419. Day 3, $313. Day 4, $249. Day 5, $773. Day 6, $637. Day 7, $211. That equals $3,128 for the week, over and above. So at the end of the week, you have crushed your goal of $1,182. Excuse me, by $1,182 because you did $1,182 above and beyond the 1946 that you were shooting for, which was what? 278 a day. Say it with me, right? 278 a day. You got to get that in your mind anyway, unless you already make more than $100,000 a year. If you would have checked your numbers daily, you could have set a new goal Because instead of getting to the end of the week or the end of the month and saying, you know what, I made $11,000 more this month than I was supposed to make or that I was scheduled to make. You could have set a new goal for yourself and stretched yourself even further. An example, 248 on day one, over and above $248. You made 526 when you're shooting to make 278. So you could have said, man, you know what? I made $248 extra today. Let me see if I can do that again tomorrow. Let me see if I can do that again the next day. See, now you're setting new goals, or you can at least put that 248 to the side and say, hey, if I fall short on one of my days, guess what? I got $248 that I can recover with. So now I'm not stressed out when I miss my goal on Thursday by $100 because I know I have a surplus of 248. See, if you would have looked at that every day instead of new goal, you could have really capitalized. You could have really allowed yourself to feed the momentum to immediately instead of realizing it after the momentum slowed down. Something that we don't want to do. So keeping track of your numbers. You cannot increase what you do not track. Let me say that again so that you guys understand that. You cannot increase or decrease what you do not track. It's imperative that you keep track of your numbers through some system. I use a ring earner chart in my network marketing company. You could use software in another industry. If you don't have the money for software, use a calendar, electronic or paper. Keep track of your numbers or income, whatever you are looking to increase or decrease, because you could be talking about your weight, daily. Every industry has its own software that you can utilize to keep track of your growth. Why would you decrease? Because like me, I was losing weight and I was looking to lose weight, so I tracked myself every day. Personal trainer says you can't get on the scale every day. It'll break your heart. I disagree. I was able to lose weight because I was able to check my weight every day. And when my weight went up and down, I had to figure out whether it was water, whether it was bloating, whether it was something I ate. I was able to keep track of all that. So then I knew when my weight fluctuated, why it fluctuated, and I knew what to eat to change what was fluctuating so that I could lose weight because I kept track of it every day. So whether you're increasing or decreasing, you want to make sure that you track your numbers every day in order to do so. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm pretty much finished training, but I want you guys to know that every single Wednesday, I do a training for about an hour and a half. It's free training for you. I do a Zoom training. I'm training tomorrow evening on what are you worth? Are you as valuable as a dollar? What is considered value? Whose higher education is this? Are you holding your value? And we're going to talk about how to increase your value. Get yourself plugged in because it can really help you in your entrepreneurial space as you move forward. Again, to receive text notifications, follow the instructions below. Just text the word mindset to 904-932-0622. That's text the word mindset to 904-932-0622, and you'll get reminders and how to plug in through that. Also, Instagram, LinkedIn, Facebook, all of those places, all of my links are there. If I'm doing a training, it's on Eventbrite. If I'm doing a training, it's on Facebook. If I'm doing a training, it's on YouTube. If I'm doing a training, it's on Instagram. If I'm doing a training, it's on Twitter. I keep my stuff posted all over the place so that you can always find the link. So I want to make sure that you guys could definitely plug in to those trainings. So let me drop my screen here and get back to real life. There we go. All right, so good stuff here. So look, guys, it's been a pleasure training you guys this evening. I'm gonna go ahead and see if Miss Candy Martin is ready to jump back on. I know you somewhere. There you go. All right, I finished on time.
I told y'all he was the truth. That's what I'm talking about. Mr. Robert Dunbar. When I tell you we are all now day benders. If you didn't listen, you better listen, okay? I put the number up there. make sure that you text and start joining him on his live so you can learn from him. And hey, when I say, oh my God, you did it. I knew you would. I knew you would. I knew you would. And I am so happy that you are here. So tune in tomorrow, same time, same place. We're going to be talking to Miss Erica Quinn. She's going to be talking about how to trauma transformer, shifting her purpose. Okay, so I need you guys. 7 o'clock, we're going to be right here. We're going to do it again. And make sure you text mindset to 904-932-0622 so you can get on the list and start learning how to be a day bender. Okay, if you wasn't taking notes, hey, I'm sorry, you need to take notes. But we will be sending his presentation to everyone that signed up for the 3M conference. So make sure, I don't care what day you signed up for, if your name is on our list, you will get his presentation so that way you can go back and look over it. But again, get on his list because I'm getting on the list too. I won't be on there this Wednesday, but shoot, we're gonna be listening to Mr. Robert Dunbar. Again, I am your girl Candy with the E. I appreciate you guys being here with me for my 3M virtual summit where motivation makes money. I want you guys to have a very happy rest of your day, and we will see you here tomorrow at 7. Peace. Thanks, Robert.
You got it. You got it.